The DS3 is hardly inexpensive, but in compensation, it's a satisfyingly desirable take on small SUV motoring, especially in this revised form. The design is individual, the cabin feels special, and it's well equipped. Plus, the combustion engines are willing and economical, and there's the option of full electric technology if you want it. This is the car tasked with really moving the DS brand forward.
You'll want to know about the engineering changes that have been made here. Well, the recipe isn't very much different. The combustion range has been slimmed down. There are no diesels anymore, and DS isn't now offering the top 155 horsepower petrol variant. And the all-electric DS3 E-Tense model that we've been trying here, that gets a completely new 155 horsepower electric motor. That's assembled in Tremery Metz, a revised reduction gear setup produced in Valenciennes, and a new 54 kilowatt hour battery that's assembled in Poissy. Those are for increases in power and range. That's now rated at 250 miles. As before, this DS3 E-Tense offers three main selectable driving modes: Eco, Normal and Sport, the last of which delivers the powertrain's maximum 260 Nm torque figure to the tarmac the instant the wheels begin to turn. Also, as before, you can maximise your range via two driver-activated energy recovery settings: Normal and Brake. If you have chosen a petrol model, you'll find that the 6-speed manual gearbox available is quite slick too, though as before you can only have that with the entry-level 100 horsepower engine. That's the usual Stellantis Group 3-cylinder 1.2 litre offering. The majority of DS3 sales though are going to be focused around the PureTech 130 petrol model, which is available only with an 8-speed automatic gearbox, and Stellantis sources that from specialist maker Aisin. As part of that transmission package, you'll get steering wheel paddle shifters and a set of selectable driving modes: Eco, Normal and Sport, the latter being the one that you'll need if you want to replicate the claimed 9.2 second 0 to 62 miles an hour sprint time. That's achieved en route to 124 mph. Across the range, body roll is well controlled for such a relatively high-sided small car, but the ride can be jerky and it's quickly upset by deeper potholes and sharper speed humps, although it does become more compliant at highway speeds. What about running costs? Well, the base PureTech 100 petrol manual derivative manages up to 49.6 miles per gallon and up to 128 grams per kilometre of CO2. For the automatic PureTech 130, the figures are up to 47.1 mpg and 135 grams per kilometre. As for this E-Tense variant, which now comes as standard with an 11 kilowatt single-phase onboard charger, well, charging at a dedicated wall box or a standard public terminal will take either 5 hours or 7.5 hours, depending on whether you're using an 11 kilowatt or a 7 kilowatt wall box. At a public 100 kilowatt rapid charge terminal, 80% of the battery can be recharged in just 30 minutes, and that represents an average range of 5.5 miles per charging minute. Styling is an emotive subject, but most will probably agree that this car still offers quite an interesting take on B-segment super mini base design. The dimensions haven't changed, so it's 4.18 meters long, 1.79 meters wide and 1.53 meters high. And that means it sits amongst the smaller contenders in this segment. The visual changes to this model are quickly covered. Revised headlamps, now of the LED variety across the range. They flank a restyled grille, which is wider and enhanced with gloss black or chromed diamond tips, depending on the model. The identifying DS wings have been tweaked to subtly join the grille and the headlamps. There's a new spoiler, and the bonnet gains a Clou de Paris embossed insert. Plus, as before, there are these fang-shaped vertical daytime running light strips on each side. So if you like your automotive jewellery, you'll love this. Nothing's very different inside, which means that if you haven't tried the earlier version of this DS3 design, it'll be like nothing you've ever experienced before. Now, if diamonds are a girl's best friend, as Marilyn Monroe once assured us, then ladies are going to absolutely love this car's cabin here, because that is a theme which reoccurs almost everywhere. Most of the infotainment and the ventilation controls are clustered within 7 intersecting diamonds, and you'll also find the same shaping on the engine start button, in the switchgear, by the gear stick, the lower steering wheel spoke, the instrument cluster design, and also on the corner air vents, which rather unusually here have been moved out into the doors. Now, whether that approach is ergonomically sensible is something that we could debate at length, but it certainly looks distinctive. You can't help suspecting that the infotainment screen would have been diamond shaped too, had it not been necessary to source this from the Stellantis Group parts bin. Now, for this revised model, DS has thankfully dispensed with the previous smaller 7-inch version of this central monitor. So all versions now have the 10.3-inch central display that we have here, which, provided you avoid entry-level trim, will be fitted out with 3D connected navigation and voice control. Anything that isn't included here, and a lot that is, can also be found on the smart 7-inch virtual instrument screen you view through this restyled, thicker, leather-bound 3-spoke steering wheel, which now gains gear shift paddles on the auto models. Ergonomic oversights are remarkably few considering the stylized eccentricity on display here. The seats are pleasingly supportive thanks to the use of special bi-density foam. And although the driving position isn't especially commanding, your view frontwards is fine, even though the A-pillars have to be wide enough to incorporate some audio speakers. Time to take a seat in the rear. Legroom's not bad at all, helped by the scalloped seat backs and the way that you can slide your brogues really easily beneath the chair in front. Thanks to the sloping roofline, headspace isn't quite as good, but much more of an issue is the way that your side view out is so restricted by that shark fin side pillar design we referenced earlier on. Plus, the window level is rather high. If you have potentially claustrophobic kids, we'd really advise that you should take them on the test drive to make sure that they'll be happy back here. Finally, let's take a look in the boot. Whatever your powertrain choice, it offers 350 litres of space, and it's accessible via a low loading lip, so lugging heavy items in and out will be nice and easy. Push forward the 60-40 split backrest, and 1,050 litres of space is revealed. And in summary, well, as we said when we were reviewing the larger DS7, we like this car most because it feels special, or at least it will for the right kind of buyer. That customer will love the painstaking attention that's been paid to almost every detail of this design. Again, it's certainly true that in some respects the execution here isn't perfect, but there's something rather soulless and clinical, isn't there, about perfection? Ultimately, this car, like its brand, is aspirational. If you are too, and you're shopping in this segment and you're looking for something just a little bit different, we think there's just a chance you might like it very much indeed.